everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit today about protein. How much do you need? Where do you get it from? And why do we even need it? I'm Jessica Stortz with Stortz Wellness Associates. And first off, I want to talk about where do we find protein. We can get it from animal sources such as poultry like chicken and turkey. We can also get it from red meat sources like beef, pork, veal, things like that. We can also get it from fish, but we can also get it from plant-based sources such as tofu, peas, quinoa, soy. Those are all great sources of protein, plant-based. Of course, this is not an exhaustive list. But why do we need protein? Well, protein is the building blocks of our cells. That is what all of our cells are made up of, is protein. And so it is a very important component that we need to consume. It helps with growth and development in teens and kids. It gives us energy. It helps with our immune system, our skin, our connective tissue, our muscles. All of it is very important. And what happens is there are these amino acids, and they're found in protein. We want to find a protein that has the 9 essential amino acids, which basically means that our body does not produce these amino acids. There is approximately 20 amino acids, and we need to consume the 9 because those 9 make up the other 20. So then we get into complete proteins and incomplete proteins. All animal sources are a complete protein and have all 9 essential amino acids, but you can also get it from plant-based sources. Soy is the only plant-based source that contains all 9 essential amino acids, but then you can also combine 2 incomplete proteins, such as beans and rice or chickpeas and quinoa, to create a complete protein. So there are ways to get protein from a plant-based source. So you might ask, well, what's better? Is an animal source better or is a plant-based source better? Well, animal sources certainly are going to give you all 9 essential amino acids, and there's going to be plenty of protein packed in those sources. But some of those sources of protein can also be high in fat, they can be highly processed, and they can cause heart disease or even contain carcinogens. So it's best to get as many as we can from plant-based sources, but if you've looked at some of our other videos about diets, the Mediterranean DASH diet don't cut out meat completely, they just limit it to a few times a week. So keep that in mind when you're consuming your protein. But you might be wondering, well, how much protein do I need? Well, as a general rule of thumb, they say 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight or 0.36 grams per pound of body weight. So all you need to do is take your weight and multiply that by 0.36, and that will tell you the grams of protein you can need to consume per day. Now, I wouldn't advocate consuming all of those in one meal. I would advocate that you split them up throughout the day. 20 to 30 grams per meal is ideal. But you might say that is the recommended daily allowance. That is what the guidelines are. And is that enough or is that too much? Well, there was actually a study done, and they took people and had them consume the recommended daily allowance, which is about 14% of calories, and then they had them consume 56% carbohydrates and 30% fat. Then they had a second group, and that second group consumed double the RDA for protein, which was about 28% in calories. And then they adjusted the fat and the carbs accordingly. And then they had a third group triple it, which was 42% of calories. And so what did they find? Those groups that did double and triple the RDA lost more fat and less muscle, which is a huge finding and what we all want to do. But also note that the second group and the third group, the 2 times the recommended daily allowance and the 3 times the daily allowance, there was really no change. So consuming 3 times didn't do anything more than just consuming 2 times. So it's important to get enough, and especially those that are aging, or those that are young and developing, or those that are pregnant and growing a human inside of them, or also breastfeeding. So what they find is that people at the age of 50 start to lose 1 to 2% of muscle mass and 1.5% of strength. So by the age of 65, by 65, they're losing 3%. So by age 75, people have lost 30% muscle mass, and by age 85, they've lost 60%. Now, this is huge because those people that are older, when they tend to fall, it's because they don't have that muscle strength anymore. So there are a couple things that are key. Their protein intake is key because that is what is building those muscles and keeping them healthy. And also
weight resistance exercise is going to build those muscles, but we need to keep up that protein so that we can keep our muscles intact. And we have seen it happen in older folks, and sometimes we think, oh, well, I'm not going to be a bodybuilder, or who cares, I'm not going to be doing anything strenuous in my older age. But it's not even that. It's just if you fall or you kind of catch something wrong, you don't have that muscle strength anymore to catch yourself like you did when you're younger. And that's why protein becomes so vital and so important. I also want to caution you against those diets, though, that tell you to eat just a ton of protein. Just consume lots and lots of protein, and that's the main focus. Now, that might not be terrible advice, and you certainly will probably lose weight because whenever you cut other food groups, you do. But it's not so much what you don't eat as it is what you do eat. If you consume a lot of animal sources, you could end up with heart disease down the way because that can clog your arteries, especially if you're eating a lot of red meat. The other thing that you want to be careful about when eating protein is, are you eating a lot of protein and then not eating any vegetables? Vegetables are very important, and plants are very important in your diet, so you want to make sure you're getting those things balanced. I hope that you found this video helpful, and if you do, would you please share it with your friends? And if you have any questions, I would love for you to contact us so we can help you learn a little bit more.